The role of a police forensic photographer is so much more than just taking photographs. You see on the American TV programs there's a homicide scene, and you always see the guy in plain clothes in the corner holding up his camera, click, 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 and you think, oh, it's just a guy taking photos. And that is so far from the truth, from what really happens. The photographer is an integral part of any investigation. The young cops come in, oh, are you actually a sworn policeman? Yeah, we're all sworn policemen because we're extremely experienced. We've seen so much, I think I've seen everything you can do to the human body. I've picked up body parts, limbs, and a human head. You look at all the police recruitment ads on TV, and I remember joking to people, oh, they show that one was on TV a while ago, the dog steals a pizza and the policeman's chasing the dog that stole the pizza doing forward rolls. I thought, if people are applying to join the police based on that, they are in for one hell of a shock. I got called to a fatal crash a few years ago, and I thought, oh, I recognise that car, and there's a sheet on the ground with two bodies underneath it, one being a baby. Go and lift the sheet up, and there's my grandchild's cousin. So I said to the guys, well, I know the family, they're relations, so I'll go and tell them, just put the scene on hold for a few minutes. But you choose your words very carefully. You don't burst out and say, so-and-so's been killed in a car crash, because they will remember those words forever. So you tell them, there's been a terrible car crash up the road involving your family. And as a result of the injuries baby received, baby's passed away. In the 21 years that I was a forensic photographer, I photographed 413 dead persons. Countless homicides, suicides, motor vehicle crashes. Some people branch out in the police to the CIB or somewhere else, and I just decided to went into photography. I knew it was an extremely varied job. I mean, there's no one in the police that sees as much as a forensic photographer. He goes to the scene, he photographs the body, photographs the suspect in custody, he'll photograph all the exhibits, the witnesses, photograph the post-mortem, and you're exposed to every aspect of that entire inquiry. And you would get called out at any hour of the night. 90% of the time it was because somebody had been killed. We'd arrive at the scenes, photograph the scene, and everything's all finished, body's packed up and gone. And I'd say to the cops, we can't leave the house like this. You can't leave it for the family. I spent so many hours cleaning up body parts from houses. Just because in those days, there was no commercial cleaning company to come in and do it. Human blood has a very, very peculiar smell to it because you're smelling it in large quantities. And if you prick your thumb, you're not going to smell the blood. But when you're at a crash scene or a homicide or a suicide where there's mass trauma and there's a lot of blood, the blood has a very, very peculiar smell to it. Certainly over the time I've become extremely accustomed to body parts and fluids and that. I don't recall my first post-mortem, but I can certainly remember a lot of policemen witnessing their first post-mortems and the reaction. I mean, it's not just the sights, it's the smells. I remember there was one detective that was at a post-mortem in Rotorua, and he was looking a bit grey around the gills, as the saying goes, and after a few moments there was a loud thump on the floor, and the guys looked around. This particular detective was lying on the floor, and he sort of came to, and he was asked, "Are you all right?" He goes, "Oh, I just felt a bit tired, so I thought I'd have a lie down on the mortuary floor." The black humour is what gets you through a lot of the time. You can be at an extremely traumatic incident, but you still have a laugh about things. That's no disrespect whatsoever meant. It's a coping mechanism. Police have been very, very conscious of getting trauma counselling for all the staff that are involved in any serious and tragic incident. You knew to not take a lot of things to heart so much, because no amount of worry and anguish and getting upset is going to change them. So there's some times when you just got to say, it is what it is. What am I doing now? So I drive the shuttle bus in the forest for Mountain Bike Rotorua, taking mountain bikers up and down the hill all day. Thoroughly enjoying it. My phone never goes at night. It's just drive up and down, quite happy to be a bus driver. Meet heaps of people, real neat, happy people out there exercising, no interest in committing crime. Brilliant.